The implicit anti-racism of Socratic reasoning and science versus Aristotle. The core of Aristotle's view is that humans only know, like animals, through perception, that the senses provide images. The memory of images leads to ideas, that any discovery of new knowledge is accidental, and the process of discovery is not knowable. Aristotle develops 10 categories by which the existence of something is known and defined from perception. Aristotle justifies slavery as a result of different inheritance of characteristics. Some are born to rule, others are born to be slaves. This is inherent. In Aristotle, society is fixed. Aristotle confines the mind to logical procedures and categories generated by the senses as the basis of knowing. Aristotle is less concerned with causality, or what causes what one sees. The fundamental problem with this philosophically is that all categorical systems and all forms of formal Aristotelian logic are inherently false with respect to knowing actual reality. This is because reality has never and will never conform to any categorical system. However, once a system of categories is created to divide the perceptible universe as knowledge into a categorical system, this categorical system will tend to be used by an elite as the first and most pervasive level of controlling the perceptions of any population with respect to reality. The reason this can occur is that once a person has accepted any categorical system as knowledge, the very categories themselves will thereafter organize how one perceives. For instance, political examples of such categorical systems are left versus right, conservative versus liberal, and communism versus capitalism. Before the 1800s, these political categories did not exist. Other examples in psychology are the Freudian example of heterosexual versus homosexual, or with Carl Jung, example of extrovert versus introvert. No such thing existed before Freud and Jung. Yet, once one accepts that these are the categories that define sexuality or social interaction in the case of Jung, then one begins to identify oneself and others by these categories. Before Freud, there was no such thing as a homosexual or a heterosexual. One was a man or a woman, and one liked to do it this way, and others liked to do it that way. Such preferences were never the basis of defining one's sex. Today, society is divided by sexual identity, a perfect situation for the elite to manipulate and control by putting these divisions against each other. The power of controlling the population through categories extends to all areas. Perhaps the most ingrained and extensive example of this is the systematic categorization that emerged in the 19th century of race and racial classifications. Racial distinctions is perhaps the best example of how an oligarchical elite have used such distinctions to justify slavery, and today have used these same distinctions to create conflicts in the population. As well, conflicts between one's own sovereign inner spiritual identity with the racial identity created by the acceptance of a racial system of categories.